So let's imagine there's a doctor in an emergency room somewhere with a patient who's confused and upset and maybe hearing voices and is suspicious of everybody, and the doctor doesn't know who this patient is. Never saw them before, and maybe doesn't know what's the best thing to do to treat this patient and to try to help them. Now imagine somebody hands the doctor a letter. Okay, it's very clearly written, and it's from that patient. And it says, "Dear doctor, we don't know each other, but if you're reading this letter, it means that I'm your patient and I'm having a mental health crisis, and I'm not going to be able to tell you directly in my own voice all the things you need to know to help me get better. So please read this very carefully, okay?" Now, what should that letter say? I mean, it's not a real letter. It's a psychiatric advance directive, but it's yours, and it can say whatever you want. Well, I think what it should do, among other things, is to summarize briefly what's most important about your past history of mental illness and treatment and what, you don't have to write your whole life story down. That would take you too long to write and too long for the doctor to read in the emergency department. But you might say, for example, something like this. I was 20 years old when I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I was in college at the time, and I also had a drinking problem, and I was prescribed lithium and carbamazepine. And the meds helped to calm my mania, but I didn't like it very much. I gained weight. I couldn't concentrate. I felt dizzy, and my hands started trembling, and I wasn't able to finish college. And then later, I was drinking again, and I got arrested when I was 25 years old, and then I started hearing voices, and I was hospitalized a couple of times, and I was diagnosed with schizophrenia. And then I was prescribed haloperidol, but I didn't like the side effects of that either. It just made me feel really sick. But the one medicine that works pretty well for me is olanzapine. And so you can give me that, but you should know I'm pre-diabetic and I need to control my weight, and I have had some liver function tests that were abnormal. And so that's something to keep in mind. Now, what else is this? My best friend Ruthie, has been super supportive of me. She knows me through the ups and downs. Please call her at this number and let her know what's happening in case she doesn't know already. She is my legal healthcare agent with healthcare power of attorney, and you can talk to her. You can talk to her about me, and she can help you decide and make decisions for me about my treatment. And now you can also talk to my mom and dad. My mom is my alternate healthcare agent with healthcare power of attorney. And please call my outpatient doctor, Dr. Jones, at this number and tell her what's going on. And meanwhile, doctor, here's what you should know about what I'm like in a mental health crisis and how you can help me. I'll be saying things that just don't make any sense. I'll be feeling agitated. I'll act like I'm really afraid and suspicious of people, including you, because this has happened before, believe me. The best thing to do is to leave me alone in a quiet, safe place for a while. Just give me some medicine to calm me down. A low dose of alprazolam usually works just fine. Do not put me in any kind of physical restraints. That's just going to make things much worse. Sometimes I've found it's soothing to hear music, instrumental music like acoustic guitar, no words. And then, after a while, have Ruthie or my mom or my outpatient Dr. Jones come and talk to me. And thank you for reading this and for giving me a voice in my own treatment. Even though the person you see right now in front of you is pretty ill, I look forward to getting better and feeling more like myself very soon. Sincerely yours, Jack. Now just imagine if a psychiatric advance directive could provide in a kind of bullet form way that kind of a summary of a person. And, just briefly, for the ER doc or the psychiatrist who's seeing you for the first time in the future and never saw you before, I think that would really help to give you the best chance for recovery in a tough situation. Key points to remember. You can use a psychiatric advance directive to briefly tell the story of your illness and previous treatment to an ER doctor or psychiatrist who might see you in a future mental health crisis. Describe the symptoms you experience in a crisis. Describe the kinds of interventions that usually work best to help you in a crisis. And let the healthcare team know who to call when you are in a crisis.